Sup guys, welcome back to the Harper, Lewis and Lockie show. Tonight, we will be going to have a discussion on how Muslims are seen in the media's eye. From our research, we have found that anyone in the media has the power to criticize their religion and personal life and construct a new alternative reality.
The misrepresentation of Muslims has affected all Islamic followers in every form of media. How Muslims are represented in the media can completely affect the way they are seen by any member of the public. Today we are just going to be focusing on how they are represented through the online news articles, newspapers and news reports.
In some cases, media outlets can portray Muslims in a negative way. An example of this is in this online news article, published by David Spicer from the ABC, which is about the trial of 20-year-old Tamim Khaja, who was an extremist Muslim that pleaded guilty to planning and preparing a terrorist attack. He was quoted saying that he wanted to kill as many unbelievers as I can. This can represent all Muslims that have come to Australia as violent terrorists and wanting to impose their beliefs and laws on the people of Australia. The article targets people who live in areas that possible terror attacks are being planned, people who already don't like Muslims for other reasons, people who dislike immigrants even though there's no reason to, and people who have had terror attacks nearby them. The article can make readers begin to fear and hate Muslims, or hate them more than they already do. This creates a variety of impacts on several different groups of people. It offends Muslims, who say their religion is peaceful and loving. For people who dislike or feel neutral about Muslims, it establishes or increases hate they already feel. The hate they feel possibly can be taken out on Muslims, or through protests for our politicians to stop Muslims from coming into Australia. It creates fear for people who follow religions other than Islam, and makes them think that all Muslims want to challenge their religious freedom. Overall, this article reinforces the common stereotype that we know today. Muslims are terrorists, they are violent, and overall bad people.
Misrepresentation of Muslims has been shown in newspapers such as the Courier Mail, the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age. Today I'm going to focus on a newspaper article looking at the issue with Islamic followers. Behind me you can see a picture of an article published about Yasmin Abel Marist on becoming Australia's most publicly hated Muslim. Yasmin was really well recognised for her public speaking about her perspective on what she thinks is right. The Sydney Morning Herald had represented that Yasmin was accused of vile slur. The reason why the media wanted to show this to the public was because they wanted the public to see that she was disrespectful because of what she said on her Facebook post, stating, "Lest we forget, Manos Nura Sara Palestine." By this she was stating that the hardships that people are going through in each of these places could not be forgotten, and that something needed to change, as the treatment of refugees in the detention centres has been called a humanitarian issue, and the people who are in there essentially did nothing wrong. For me, this article is speaking out to the public through the social media. It is shown through the social media because that is how news these days is spread the quickest. The impact from this article, for me, is huge and left me feeling like it was a disgrace. She was a disgraceful person. But then I looked into it more and found more about what she was speaking about. She was just saying what she feels is right.
Alright guys, I'm not going to point any fingers at people, but Pauline Hanson. She can really start some controversy. In case you don't already know who Pauline Hanson is, she's the founder and leader of right-wing party One Nation. In this video here, she just casually walks into Parliament wearing a burqa.
Senator Hanson.
I'm quite happy to remove this because this is not what should belong in this Parliament.
Given she has no faith in Islam, she is just mocking their religion and using an element of their religion to attack them. This would then affect every Muslim because some Muslims wear burqas. It's their way of life. It leaves a big impression on the Muslims that they are unwanted in our country. Because the stereotype is that they're all terrorists, even though less than 2% of terror attacks are made in the name of Islam. What Pauline Hanson has done would affect everyone, because it would be completely different between the everyday Aussie to a Muslim's opinion, because the Pauline Hanson supporters would go with her and the stereotype, but the Muslims would feel wronged and stereotyped by her because they have done absolutely nothing wrong to deserve this attention.
As we've discussed today, the media plays a huge role in what all different kinds of people think about Muslims. The media has constructed a popular viewpoint that Muslims are violent, disrespectful, and like a spreading virus across all platforms and media, which is ethically wrong because it's generalizing all Muslims under a negative banner, and also because it's mostly untrue, because extremist Muslims only make up 0.003% of the 1.6 billion Muslims in the world.
Thank you for watching and good night.